For this tier list, I will be judging monsters based on 3 categories, those being 1, visual design of the monster, 2, how fun it is to fight. I don't know anything about boss design, but just how I personally feel fighting this monster, and 3, I can't leave out how the armor set looks for each monster. The tiers we'll be placing monsters in are S, aka Rove tier, A, aka Athos tier, B, aka Gemma tier, C, aka Nata tier, and F. First up, the Chatacabra. Overall, I like the design. It reminds me of those cute rain frogs I used to want as a pet when I was a kid. Nothing crazy, solid 5 out of 10 for me. Overall, nice first quest monster. It's got pretty predictable moves that are easy to strafe from, but if you want to get the perfect dodge, you gotta wait a bit longer. Nice for people just starting the series and learning a weapon for the first time. The fun is like a 4 out of 10. I mean, that's just how these beginner monsters are gonna be. I like how they designed the armor. The frog skin looks pretty cool. I'll give that a 6 out of 10. And he's going to start off the Nata tier. Moving on to the Quematrice, giant chicken. Kind of reminds me of the good mythical morning bird. I'd say another 5 out of 10 design. This fight was really easy, like easier than the Chatacabra. There are some cool aspects. The fire tail is pretty cool, but overall, not super fun. If you've played Monster Hunter games before, I mean, that's just how it is. Probably a 2 out of 10 on the fun scale. The armor is fire. I'm pulling up to the function in a fit like this. 8 out of 10 for the armor. Regardless, that is another Nata tier. This is the first spider monster I fought. I haven't played many Monster Hunter games before World, so I don't know if there have been previous spider monsters, but this is the first one I fought. I think the rose coming out from the abdomen's pretty cool. Better than the other spider, at least. 8 out of 10 design. Most of the low-rank fights will feel a bit lackluster. I mean, anybody with over 500 hours in any Monster Hunter game is probably going to feel that way. Still, the spores it shoots out that fall, and you have to keep their position in mind. It's kind of a nice mix-up. 5 out of 10 for the fun. But this armor is awesome. Gives off Bloodborne vibes. I'd say that's 9 out of 10 on the armor. And this is going to start off the Gemma tier. Okay, Congalala, giant inflation fetish fart monkey. 10 out of 10 design. Alright, the fight, once again, like Lala Barina, it's a bit lackluster, but also similarly, it has some features that mix it up a bit. I'm not a huge fan of monsters that have the whole posse just random mobs following them around. It's probably a 5 out of 10 on the fun. I thought I wouldn't like the armor set based on how the monster looked, but they made it work. It's not personally my style, but still pretty cool. 7 out of 10 for the armor. And this will also go into Gemma tier. If I were to compare this monster to the ones from World, I'd say it kind of reminds me of the Piscine Wyverns, which I didn't like fighting. If this is a replacement to them, I would prefer this. And I actually do like the sandworm design. I think purely the design, probably a 6 out of 10. I do not really enjoy fighting this monster at all. It's pretty boring to me. Doesn't ever feel like I'm doing much to it, and it just feels slow. I don't know how to explain it. It's a 3 out of 10 on the fun scale. The Balahara armor is really cool. It feels like, I don't know, if I picked it up in a Souls game, I'd probably wear it. This is an 8 out of 10 in the armor department. This is either top of Nata tier or bottom of Gemma tier for me. I'm a bit conflicted about the Doshaguma. First of all, the design, big saber-toothed bear, pretty cool, probably another 5 out of 10. When I'm fighting it, it doesn't feel... When I'm fighting it, it seems like it has some big haymaker moves, but I can't remember ever being hit by one. It kind of removes the aspect of danger. Maybe a 5 out of 10 on fun. I don't mind the armor. It's nothing special, maybe 6 out of 10. This is probably also high Nata, low Gemma tier. I love Uth Duna's design. It's a 9 out of 10 for me. I really like the water-based giant monsters. Namiel was probably my second favorite monster in World behind the goat Nergigante. But most of why I got into Monster Hunter is because I just wanted to fight giant monsters, and this scratches the itch. I really wish the fight was just harder. It's just, I don't know. I know it's a complaint that people talk about all the time, but it's just the start of the game. Maybe a 7 out of 10 for how fun the fight is. I also really like this type of armor. It seems like something that would be a part of a Warlock set in Destiny. It's probably an 8 out of 10. With that, we got the first Athos tier monster. Rompopolo. This design, it's pretty good. It makes me have that sort of uncomfortable feeling like seeing a mosquito in the room but not wanting to get up to kill it. I think it's 7 out of 10 is fair. Similar to a mosquito, this was a really easy fight when I actually focused on killing it. If I was just trying to rush through, I'd probably get hit with the gas attack every now and then, but maybe like 3 out of 10 for fun. The armor's kind of mid. I think the Gypceros armor from World did it better. The Palico armor's cool. 5 out of 10 on the armor. This is also going in the Nata tier. This is a good alpha predator here. I think the design's a 9 out of 10. I mean, a lightning dragon's never not going to be cool, so the gold sharp scales, the mandibles, the spiked tail, it's just cool. All right, the attacks, they feel like they hold a ton of weight, especially the big lightning strikes and the tail or wing slams. I had to actually learn the moveset of this boss, so that was a good change. Probably 8 out of 10, fun. The only lacking aspect for me was the armor. I want to like it, but I was using the armor for a while in the playthrough, and I just couldn't stand how I looked in cutscenes. I don't know exactly what it is. I think it's the helmet, but I don't like it. It's a 5 out of 10 for me. This is also going in the Athos tier. Nercylla, another spider monster. The spider designs, they're still cool. I like Lala more. This one's probably a 6 out of 10. The fight is also not that fun. Giant mandible attack got me a few times, but most of the stuff you could dodge after seeing it once. Once again, I hate fighting a bunch of small mobs at the same time as the boss. Probably a 4 out of 10 for the fight fun. The armor though, this armor is awesome. It reminds me of the, what was it? It reminds me of the Brachydios armor, which I loved. Power Ranger vibes, 9 out of 10. I don't think this monster belongs in Nata tier, so it's going to Gemma, but it's near the bottom. Not much to say about the Hirabami. The design's okay. I think it looks like one of the small monsters from World, but I can't remember which one. I'll just throw up an image when I find it. Probably 5 out of 10 design. It was also boring to fight. Most interesting attack was it just spinning around on the ground. 3 out of 10 on the fun. The armor's not my style, but I think it's interesting, and I know some people would like it, so I'll give it a 7 out of 10, but regardless, it's going in the Nata tier. The Chinese mythology style Wukong-like monkey is valid. I like how it feels really different from Congalala and Blangonga and even Rajang. 8 out of 10 design. I also thought the fight was really fun. I'm kind of just farming him in the background footage, but when he goes Super Saiyan, he's got the giant slam attack and the lava that he throws up. I think the fight is like a 8 out of 10 on fun. I already said I like the Chinese mythological stuff, so this armor does it for me. 10 out of 10. This is going in the Athos tier. First time seeing this in the trailers, I thought it was really cool. Fighting it for the first time, I thought it was cool. I still think it's really cool. It fits so well into the environment. I remember running around the oil well basin, just thinking about like what creatures would live here in a fantasy world. And the oil octopus, it's just perfect. 10 out of 10 design. I think I had one of my first carts fighting this monster. It took a while to fight until I realized that pretty much every time it's about to attack, you can see the underside of its tentacle. And after that, start demolishing it, which actually made it more fun. So I'd give it a 10 out of 10 on the fun too. Someone out there I know will really like this armor, but the male armor set, it's just not my favorite. I think the male set's probably a 7 out of 10. Female set, probably a 9 out of 10. And the Palico armor, that's a 10 out of 10. Overall, still good. This is going to start off the Rove tier. I think the Guardian Doshaguma is actually a really good upgrade to the Doshaguma. It definitely feels like I'm fighting a rabid version of the monster or something like that. Probably a 7 out of 10 on the design. The walk 'em down move, it's terrifying. I want to see them use that in more giant monsters later on. This is probably a 6 out of 10 for the fun. This might be a hot take, but I just don't generally like the Guardian armor sets compared to the normal ones. This one's basically the same for me, 6 out of 10, but with the next monsters coming up, it's a bit different. So this one got pushed up to the Gemma tier. And thinking about it more, the normal Doshaguma probably belongs in the Nata tier, so I'll just move that down there. Guardian Rathalos, giant blue fire wyvern. It's a simple design, but that doesn't make it not cool. 8 out of 10. As for the fun, it's about as fun as fighting a normal Rathalos, which is a good enough fight, probably 7 out of 10. The armor, I honestly like it less than the normal Rathalos. Like I was saying before, the blue, it just doesn't feel like it belongs there to me. So 6 out of 10 on the armor, and this is going in Gemma tier. Now, Ebony Odogaron. This is the exception to the rule. I'm going to talk about the armor first, because this is just perfect. This is peak. 10 out of 10. Odogaron always has me fresh. He is the armor plug. I also like the design and the fight. It's a pretty fast-paced fight, which gives a lot of opportunities to dodge and counter, and that's what makes the fights feel so cinematic to me. So 7 out of 10 for both the fun and the design. This is another probably Athos tier, because I really do like fighting the Odogaron. Maybe high Gemma tier. I'll move stuff around later. Zhu Wu, another octopus. They captured some really cool aspects of culture in some of these monsters. I feel like I'm fighting a Middle Eastern assassin, like Bakiraka style from Berserk. I think the design is at least as cool as the oil octopus, probably another 10 out of 10. But this monster is pretty fun to fight too. It's got a nice lineup of slow and fast wind-up attacks. Sort of throw in some ranged kunai throws and giant toothy dash. I wouldn't say I had as fun fighting it as I did New Udra, but it's still fun. 7 out of 10. This armor is sick also. I could see myself rocking this on a dual blades build. 9 out of 10. This is going high Athos, I think. I took a break from recording these because my throat was kind of hurting. Then I watched a video about gambling, and it kind of hyped me up to keep going. So, Guardian Arkveld. All right, I'll get this over fast. I think Arkveld, 10 out of 10 design. All right. Guardian Flare doesn't diminish it at all. The giant splitting chain whips, it just makes the battle super fun. Every attack I feel like is going to be a strong hit. And then he throws in some like off-tempo hits with the tail. It's pretty good. I'd say like 8 out of 10 on the fun for me. It's just missing some of the stuff that you see come in later on. But the armor is sick. It looks really good altogether. I think if you mix it with other sets, which I've been doing now with the endgame stuff, it looks kind of clunky, but that's not what we're judging here. 9 out of 10 for the armor. Add this to the Rove tier easily. Zoh Shia is something I wanted more of in this game. The fight's pretty short, and you never see it again unless you go join someone else's hunt. There's also no armor set yet. As I've said before, I love fighting giant monsters, and this one feels a lot like Safi Jiva's fight from World. I don't know if there's anyone who didn't get caught by the supernova on the first playthrough trying to hide behind the rock. That was a valid decision by the designers. The design and fun for this fight are 10 out of 10 and 8 out of 10 respectively. Once again, the fight was a bit easy, but that's just how it is at the start of these Monster Hunter games. No armor to judge off of, but I'm just going to throw this guy in Rove tier, assuming it's going to be fire when it comes out. I think this was the third monster that carded me. I got caught in one of his massive dive attacks. There are some seriously heavy-hitting moves in this fight. I'd give the fun factor like 8 out of 10. Anjanath just feels good to fight. The design's also clean. Guardian Glow works really well with the Fulgur Anjanath design. Design gets an 8 out of 10 as well. Once again, I like the Anjanath armor, but I think I'd like it more without the Guardian like trim. I don't know what else to say. It's like, I just don't like it. 7 out of 10. Guardian Fulgur Anjanath goes into Gemma tier. I also decided to move the Guardian Ebony Odogaron down to the Gemma tier as well. I just feel like that's a better place for it. This bird sucks, and I hate it. I had to fight it like 7 times in a row for some item. I don't even remember what it was, and I was less and less fun every single time. Its attacks are dumb, its face is dumb, it's easy to dodge, but has a ton of health, and if you get impatient and try to go fast, you'll get hit by stupid moves a lot. Design's a 3 out of 10. The fun's a 1 out of 10. Armor's mid. I don't really like it that much. 3 out of 10. You're going straight to the World Handler tier. Gypceros, another bird wyvern. Never been a huge fan of them, but coming from the Yian Kut-Ku, it's gonna be better. Nothing really special about this fight. I barely remember fighting it at all, to be honest. Designs, like 4 out of 10. fun, probably 2 out of 10. Now this armor, on the other hand, is absolutely glorious. This is a suit of armor. This is what I'll rescue the princess in. 10 out of 10 armor saves this beast. Still going into Nata tier though. Rathian and Rathalos I'll talk about together because they essentially got the same score. Classic, solid, flying wyvern, staple of the game since they were introduced. Design for both is an 8 out of 10. I don't really enjoy fighting monsters that are flying all the time, so Rathian gets a point over Rathalos in the fun category. 8 and 7 out of 10 respectively. However, the Rathian armor just does not cut it for me, so Rathalos has the upper hand on that. 6 and 7 respectively. Anyway, these guys are both going into Gemma tier. Big old Gravios. He's got a literal laser that shoots from his head. Special beam cannon just destroys me anytime it hits. He has this little underbelly gas attack that Radobon had. Unfortunately, it doesn't roll around. That would be insane, but the design's a 9 out of 10. And I think the name fits perfectly. Like, if you had me imagine what Gravios is without showing me, this is what I'd imagine. The fight is really fun because, at least when I fought it, if I ever got hit with that laser, it was over. He's not super fast, not super hard to hit, but when he hits you, it's like a full dump truck going like 80 on the New Jersey Turnpike. Fun is about 8 out of 10, and this armor is so clean. It reminds me of Radobon's too, which I liked, so 9 out of 10 for that. Gravios is going up to the Athenos tier, to the Athos tier. What the heck was her name? Dumb monkey, stupid monkey. Fun is a 0 out of 10. Don't ever want to fight it. Or its gang of illiterate snowball throwing apes again. Design is mid, no fart, no giant fire. 4 out of 10. I don't like the armor either, 5 out of 10. World handler tier. Next. We are so back. Jin Dahaad. You guys already know how I feel about giant monster battles. This looks like a beast straight out of Anne Orlando. Like, I'm gonna fight this dude before I gotta fight the Pontiff. If any fight is like Safi Jiva in this game, it's this one. Going in with a group of veteran hunters, just demolishing every part on its body. Even though it gets kind of easy, like as you learn the attacks, it's so cinematic. I enjoy every time I fight it. Design and fun, both 10 out of 10 for me. The armor's good. I like the armor. I feel like I should like it more, but something about it is off. Like, quite say exactly why, but it's a 7 out of 10 for me. I had a hard time deciding whether or not to go to top of Athos tier or bottom Rove tier. Either way, it's a solid monster. I wish I recorded the look on my face when I saw this dude was in the game. If only I was recording. I was geeked when I saw this dude. Gore Magala, I don't even need to explain. This is a 10 out of 10 design. This is the Batman of Monster Hunter. Like, just insane. It's blind, which makes it even cooler. The fight is difficult. Tempered Gore Magala might be the hardest fight in the game right now, and that challenge is what makes it fun. 9 out of 10 on the fun scale. This armor is beautiful. That isn't in question, alright? Probably 10 out of 10, but what seals the deal for me is this Palico armor. This is my favorite by far. Overall, easy Rove tier for Gore. Last but not least, we got the White Wraith himself, Arkveld. The design, not going down at all from Guardian, still 10 out of 10. The fight gets even better with the added lethality to each attack and the insane, massive explosions. Bumps it up to a 9 out of 10 on the fun scale. Once again, the armor I think looks even better without the Guardian aura to it. 10 out of 10, would raid and burn down a village in this armor. Great final boss. It's going to be Rove tier for sure. So I kind of just added everything to the right tier, but they're not really in any specific order right now, so let me just take a minute and rearrange these the way I want them. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe. Let me know what your opinions are in the comments below, if you think this tier list is accurate or not. Actually, this tier list is inscrutable, so how about you just comment what your favorite monster is down below and call it at that. Might be a little bit before the next video comes out. I've got a huge project for Monster Hunter that I'm really excited to work on, but it's going to take a little bit. And so that, maybe something else will be coming out before it. Still gotta continue with the Marvel Rivals stuff. Anyway, you guys don't care about that. Thank you all for watching, and once again, Mr. Madu is out.